Howdy everyone, and welcome to another Game Explained discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by John Cartwright and Tom Arnold to discuss the state of play, focusing entirely on Ghost of Tsushima. So let's just dive right into it, because that's essentially what this state of play did. Really, it felt more like an E3 presentation where they just walked you through, showed some of the actions, some of the things you could do in the game, and it was lean, tight, all gameplay focused, and honestly, I left this pretty impressed. But what about you guys?
So previously, I was invested in Ghost of Tsushima, but I wasn't necessarily excited for it. But after watching this left such a solid impression. It was basically just flat out gameplay the entire time, and one thing that I love is there's no HUD really. The HUD only pops up during combat sections, so when you're exploring the overworld, it's just such a clear display, and the way that it guides you is so clever. But we'll get into that more a bit later on. So Tom, what do you think about it?
Originally, I was kind of put off from the game from previous presentations and being maybe hyper-violent, and that was the main focus. Now, granted, it still is fairly violent with how you dispatch enemies, but I love the sort of open fields that you can ride on horseback through, and it looks like some exploration through it, and definitely a lot of care of crafting, maybe an authentic experience of being a samurai or in Japan. So I'm looking forward to it now.
I think that's the big thing, is I never got a sense of what Ghost of Tsushima was really trying to do. We saw a bit of story cutscenes and they were talking about this ghost, but that didn't really click with me because I wasn't sure what, okay, what's that mean? And then we saw some combat. I was like, okay, combat looks good, but I still don't know what the game was really trying to go for. And finally, this state of play showed that. And I think it was a really good idea to start with just what the world was like. And as you said, John, it's virtually HUDless. It only shows up when it needs to, and right off the bat, just really impressed with you want to go to a place, you follow the wind. The direction of wind is shown, and you follow that, and it changes as you go along, and you can have it, affect and sort of guide you in that way. Or you want to find a secret area or a shrine, you follow the birds or the foxes, and it's just integrated so well and looks gorgeous. It really does.
It's so clever. So many open world games look beautiful, but you don't really look at them because your eyes are glued to a map the entire time. Most of the time you're following just a waypoint, which takes your eyes off the world. You're not really taking it all in, you're just looking at this 2D map. Whereas in Ghost of Tsushima, because the wind's guiding you, you're constantly glued in your surroundings, and that's really going to help exploration. It feels like a feature that Breath of the Wild would have had. It's so clever, it's so intuitive. And I love that animals guide you as well. You can follow foxes and any other kind of wildlife, and they'll take you to certain places of interest. It feels like nature and environments are just working together as one. And it's one of the cleverest mechanics I've seen in an open world game for a very long time.
And you can pet the fox.
Yeah, perfect. Game of the year.
What stood out to you, Tom?
Well, for me, just coming off the recent Xbox showing, it's like, wow, there's gameplay here. Glorious gameplay.
Well, this is current gen.
Yeah, I know, but still, I temper my expectations. I don't want to get feeling too high beforehand and be brought down later. So it's just nice to see, and such a detailed look at the game, where in other times, compared to the trailer stuff before, I love to actually know what the game's about. And as John was saying, that's kind of funny about the looking down at the map all the time, because it's something I often do, and it's really a problem, almost like the Wii U gamepad, where they didn't really want to use it back then on let's say on Wii U games, because your eyes are off the TV. So it's a nice way around that solution problem, and hopefully more games will use solutions like this in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we fixated on being a current gen game, but it doesn't look like it. This is stunning. Look at the fields. How many blades of grass can you see just swaying in tandem with each other? This is a beautiful looking game, and they highlight that with the photo mode as well, which it's just going to let you relish in the beauty they've made. And for a moment, I thought they were going to break my immersion with you sliding through 2 rocks, but it's so brief.
I mean, that was the quickest shimmy through rocks I've seen in a long time. It was just like, okay, we're just going to, okay, you're in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they're bragging about how fast the load times are for this game.
Yeah. it really does. Like, this world doesn't seem too huge, at least from the little glimpses of the map that we got. But it also, it's colorful, it's rich, there's all kinds of different things to explore, there's side quests to do, but you can follow the whole thing. It's an open world game, but it's not like, it doesn't feel like one of those like, okay, you got to go here in order to open up the map. At least not yet, at least not at the point they were playing. Maybe that's a thing once you're in there. But another key point that they made sure to show off with this is the style, like the combat style. You can either fight like a samurai, be honorable, challenge everybody to a one-on-one duel and fight that way, or basically be a ninja and stealth kill everything. So do you favor stealth or do you favor all-out action? And that's a very common choice in a lot of games like this, or that kind of go in that path. But I almost got the sense that it's like the fact that they called the Ghost dishonorable is like, there's going to be a good-bad system.
Evil Cole and normal Cole from Infamous.
Yes, exactly. Are they pulling that out once again with Sucker Punch? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's more a stylistic thing, but it's still interesting, the wording.
What I love as well about both of those playstyles is there's an elegance to them. Like even the violence of this game looks kind of elegant. Like the combat's a dance when you're parrying moves and just sort of swaying from one to the other, cutting off limbs. It's all part of this big violent ballet. Whereas then you have the other side where you're sort of sneaking around and you can... It's so interactive. Like there are so many walls you can clamber up, and it doesn't look like anything really stops your progress. Like you can just keep going seamlessly along these environments, and the traversal looks kind of similar to Infamous in a way, where it's just this seamless jump from structure to structure, and nothing really breaks that loop up.
There was a point in the trailer where it's almost casually strolling into a village with tons of enemies around him, and I'm kind of looking, and there's a cover right beside him. Like, what are you doing? Go to the cover. Go to the cover. You're gonna be shot. Like, that's what you assume from games these days. And then the guy shoots an arrow at him. Yeah, he just parries it out of the air with his sword. I love that mechanic. I love parrying games. I think I'm gonna be trying that a lot. I only wish he could parry an arrow into an enemy. That I would love to see.
Well, I think you do see an arrow shoot off into the distance once you parry it. So maybe it is possible. The
samurai gameplay really was impressive, just parrying each person. I was getting real Sekiro vibes, even though I've not played that game, but from everything I've seen played, it felt really like stand your ground, parry, be prepared, just be aware of everything going on around you. While the more ninja-like gameplay, the Ghost gameplay, is very much, all right, got this enemy, let's distract him, all right, took out that guy, and let's go. And just, it was very much more forward motion with that one.
Yeah, they definitely showcase just how agile and how many different abilities you have. Like, if you want to throw out items and then distract guards and then just assassinate them, you can. If you want to just try and sneak past them all, you can. If you want to just be crazy and tear them all apart, you can. I love just this free flow of gameplay styles you don't have to commit to. And it'd be interesting to see what happens if you mix them up. Because they're sort of showcasing these two styles that you can choose and how it might impact your character. But what if you're balanced? Like, what if you're sneaky but also careless? Which is usually my play style in these games.
Thinking back to Metal Gear, it's normally... In that game, I would try to be stealthy, and then it's like, well, I screwed up. Okay, I'm just going to bring out the rocket launcher and shoot everybody now. But
yep.
I wonder if the game will punish you for that, or if you can get by. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's definitely up in the air, but it seems to be focusing like much more, especially with the abilities they were talking about and how you can equip charms that guide you one way or the other. And we even kind of saw maybe the possible benefits of going one or the other within the gameplay, as when you were playing as the Ghost, one of the enemies actually got scared, just dropped to the ground and just tried to shimmy away. Didn't work, but it was one of those things. So it might, playing one style inflicts fear, so they actually run from you, while the other style no, I'm going to challenge this guy, he's honorable, so I think I can take him, and you get challenged more because of it.
Charming gameplay, that's our box art quote.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Did anything else stand out about the game beyond combat and exploration?
Well, for me, I think it's just the balance between those, really, because exploration is kind of... there's points where you're just picking flowers. So the tone between like picking a flower and tearing a guy's arm off is so drastic. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how they carry that balance. But I think that they're going to complement each other really well. Because you have this sort of peaceful, mellow time to wind down, and then you can just go crazy whenever you want to during the actual combat sections. So I think there's going to be a really good flow here.
For me, on top of the exploration stuff, just a lot of attention to detail with extra modes. Not only photo mode, but that sort of samurai movie mode where it's black and white with film grain. You can tell a lot of care and thought has been put into the game. That stood out for me towards the end of the trailer. Like at first it's like, oh, this is boring, but as I went on, I could appreciate it.
Yeah, that film grain mode looks cool, but also the game's so beautifully colored. There's so many vibrant colors on screen at once, and using that, I feel like that would take too much away.
Wow, short bursts, John.
Short burst or second playthrough?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
The thing that because we talked to each other as we were watching this, we mentioned a lot how it kind of feels like Japanese Breath of the Wild in a way. Just the way you run around the horse, you have all the missions, you can climb up on a lot of things. The swordplay kind of feels like it. It just kind of gave a small vibe to that world of Hyrule. But the funny thing here is that I'm pretty sure Sucker Punch are English developers. I'm pretty positive on that one. And how rare is it that we actually have a Japanese vocal track, because it just fits so well with the game in an American production. Like it just seems like a complete reverse.
It's wild, yeah.
Yeah, I could not see myself sort of playing this game if it was only an English track, almost. Like, that's something I need. I know maybe a lot of audiences like subtitles, or not subtitles, but a dub, but I prefer subtitles with Japanese audio to it.
It kind of immerses you in that way. I think that's why they haven't bothered to really had a dub to Yakuza in how long.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's only Yakuza 1 with the dub.
Didn't Yakuza 1 have Mark Hamill in it?
Yes, I just found out the other day he was Majima, which makes sense because he's Joker and Batman, right? So why not be the crazy laughing guy?
He's good at crazy guys. So who knows? Maybe Mark Hamill will be on this. I have no idea.
It's always got to be one crazy samurai, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. But yeah, I think that's the big takeaway from here is it kept things simple. It kept things focused on gameplay. It didn't show everything. It does have one of your dreaded things, John, where it looks to be there's going to be a skill tree and skill points in it to kind of go there. But I guess you could go jack of all trades if that's the case. So
yeah. I mean, I accept skill trees as just a modern mechanic nowadays. Like, I don't like them, but I also don't. I'm also expecting them to be there pretty much in every game, so I'll take them, but I'd prefer they not be in there.
Yeah.
If only the state of play had a nice segue. It's like, look at the natural beauty in trees. And speaking of trees, there's skill trees in the game. It's like, oh.
Yeah, perfect. But yeah, overall, I left this being pretty impressed, pretty excited for the game when it comes out on July 17th, which I don't know what it is about today and games being released on July 17th. Apparently, they're just matched up together. This is a heck of a double pair with Paper Mario, but I don't know. Seems like it'd be a good gaming day.
Yeah. I think this might have sawn all the way up to being my most anticipated Sony game. Just the pure gameplay looks so inviting.
Wow.
I'm excited for The Last of Us Part 2, but I don't think I have been that just sucked into the combat and worlds in that game compared to this. Last of Us Part 2, I'm excited for the story. This, I'm excited for the gameplay.
Yeah, considering how I get a lot of Breath of the Wild vibes from this game, I think I would enjoy this game more. And not only was it a good showing of gameplay, I think they did a really good job with the presentation, because we know making a good presentation isn't necessarily an easy thing to do, as we've seen by some failed efforts in the past, so kudos for that.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that about covers it for our Ghost of Tsushima State of Play discussion. So thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, and of course be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Ghost of Tsushima and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.